This AI handles all your MedSpa calls and it books directly into your CRM non-stop. No staff required, no missed calls anymore, and it doesn't even need lunch breaks or holidays. You see, most med spas are bleeding clients because the phone rings when staff are busy, or worse, after hours. This agent doesn't just answer calls, it checks availability within your CRM, makes alternative time suggestions if the slot isn't available, and finally it books them in for you. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how this works, first with a live demo, then breaking down the real cost of running one, and finally the setup of this booking machine for your spa. So if you want to find out what really keeps this voice agent working reliably, how it sounds truly lifelike, and more, make sure you stick around until the end.
You've reached Kayla's Med Spa. As a disclaimer, we do not store or process personal data during calls. Are you looking to make a booking with us today?
Yeah, could I make a booking for your London clinic, please?
Certainly. Would this be for a free consultation or a checkup?
Free consultation.
Great choice. What date would you like to book your consultation for? And would you prefer a morning or afternoon appointment?
Is there any chance we could do a morning appointment on the 28th?
Just to confirm, you're looking for a morning appointment on the 28th of September, correct? The nearest available time would be at 11 a.m. Does that work for you?
Yeah, please.
It looks like the 11 a.m. slot on the 28th of September is not available. However, we do have a 3 p.m. slot available that day. Would you like to go ahead and book that instead?
Yeah, could we go for the 3 p.m.?
Perfect. Could I have the name you would like the booking under?
Yeah, it's Harry Moore.
Thank you, Harry. Is the number you are calling from the best way to reach you for any updates?
Yeah, this one's perfect.
You're all set, Harry. Your consultation is booked for 3 p.m. on the 28th of September at our London clinic. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
No, that's all. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Harry. Thank you for choosing Kayla's Med Spa. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye. There you go. And now you can see here, now all the information about my appointment has all been booked in. Only the London clinic has been adjusted. New York one, still the same spot is available. It's only gone for that specific slot. Before I show you what it really costs to run something like this, if you want to discover how we could implement any of these strategies into your business, use the first link down below to book a free AI discovery call. There are only 3 slots available for this video, so if you're ready to transform your business with AI, make sure you secure your spot before it's gone. Now let's actually break down some of this cost savings you could benefit from by using AI in your systems. And this, I'm going to say, is very much more of a conservative look at things, as really where I see the biggest hidden cost savings are in the number of missed calls you might get, as these are where the biggest numbers come into play, as med spas typically in peak hours are seeing a region of 30 to 50% of their calls missed. So say, even if a few of those per day were potential bookings missed, then that can very quickly, for the cost of your service, add up to thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars every month per clinic. But I'm just going to be focusing on purely the costs of running the AI, which for this case is about 11 cents per minute. Now, I've actually got the cost for this to be more like 9 cents a minute for this, but I'm being a bit more on the conservative side because usually I like to add a little bit more information about your business just so I can handle a few more scenarios. So this is now more like 11 cents a minute. We're dealing with very little costs in this. So I've looked up the average hourly rate for a member of staff, which would be typically for a receptionist $18, and a typical day would see average calls about 4 minutes and maybe 60 calls, and this is for a single clinic. Just the cost of hiring a member of staff would be in the region of $3,200 average a month. And this is them working normal hours, having lunch breaks, having holidays, so this is not factoring in some of the time they'll be spending off. So say if you wanted to capture every single call, and needed a full 24-hour service, then you'd be looking at either the cost of a call center or an additional member of staff, which would see this cost without AI go up quite a significant amount. But being conservative here. I've also included what would be the setup fee for implementing an AI service like this. So that's just factored into the first month. But after that, you're then seeing the actual running costs of AI typically fall within about $538 on average, which is very little for the amount of time and work that this AI is doing for you and for your business. That's just the cost to be getting consistent bookings automatically, which is great. Now, the cumulative effects of this month by month would mean, compared to a member staff, you're now going to be getting equivalent to $27,000 per clinic. You know, this is like being paid that sort of money just to be having an AI system implemented into your business, with all the other benefits, such as it can book 24/7. It can also handle up to 10 calls at once or more if you wish, which makes it so much more scalable. If you're dealing with more calls on certain days and less on other days, then this cost obviously will fluctuate. This is just an average here. And so some days, if you're only getting 20 calls, then your costs are going to be only for 20 calls of AI time, nothing if there's none. And additionally, you don't have to manage it. It's AI, it's doing all the work for you, and it's behaving reliably in the background. And you get extra insights and some other little benefits that not all are mentioned here. So if you want to see where some of the bigger savings would be just on the costs of running the AI alone, well, if you're small and independent, then you're going to be seeing this $27,000. But for many chains where you're dealing with 2 to 5 or even 10 to 100 locations, now that cost is going to be multiplied, and you're seeing savings of hundreds, if not up to sometimes millions of dollars just in running AI costs, which is crazy to think about. So where I see this best being used is in somewhere like the UK and EU, because this sort of service is factoring in GDPR compliance regulations, and that doesn't really bring any added cost, just a little bit of added complexity, which is already included in the setup fee. But where it gets a bit more difficult is when you're as a clinic, as obviously we've got to be dealing with HIPAA. Their costs of HIPAA will be monthly and require a lot more upfront fees in order to make it completely compliant. And because of the added complexity of this typically makes the most sense for clinics where you have 2 to 3 and upwards to make the most effect of this added internal cost. But the benefit of this as well, though, once you've got a system like this implemented, this is just for your bookings. You can implement other AI solutions for other areas and save time other ways, which brings more cost savings, which would more than pay off this additional HIPAA cost. This is just purely looking into this one little feature, which AI can do way more than just this for your med spa. But the main thing here is the moment this scales, you don't have to have more staff managing this. You wouldn't need huge teams of people managing your calls. It's literally a single AI agent that manages itself. Now, a note I'd like to end on is the fact that this is not intending to be replacing any members of staff necessarily. It might be due to replace a call center or having someone on the phones in extra time, but you're still obviously going to need your front of house staff. But this now frees up their time to actually be helping people as they're coming through the door and managing other admin-like tasks throughout the med spa. So they're no longer going to be missing these calls due to other complexities. The calls are just handled. They're not interrupting anyone in your actual med spa itself, which I think is really important when you want to keep that nice, relaxed and chill vibes that you're going for. Having the phone going off and members of staff not being able to speak to clients because they're on the phone, this can completely eliminate that and free them up to do more for your business. So I'm going to keep this next section as brief as possible, both to respect your time and focus on the key things that allows our agent to handle these tasks for you. Now, the main thing I want to share is the fact that we've just used our Excel spreadsheet just as a placeholder for what your CRM would be. The main parts that make up this agent are VAPI, which is going to be what actually speaks and communicates. This is built using OpenAI as what actually decides what to say. We're using the 4.0 mini cluster model. And the big thing here is that we give it a prompt, which is a set of guidelines that really try and tell the agent what we want it to say, and also very importantly, what we want it to not say. So I've gone and put extra steps here, such as only tell me information that exists in the system prompt, so it's not going to give some random advice you don't want it to. We've given specifics about how we want it to speak, certain phrases we'd like it to use. But also, one of the most important things I find is the conversation flow. This gives you the most flexibility in how you want it to guide users through the conversation and allows us to hook up to different tools. The tools here, which we've gotten and created, we've got booking the clinic session and checking availability. This is what's going to be sending any information the AI agent's asked for straight into a system, an automation system like NA10. And now, instead of allowing AI direct access to any CRMs or any information, it sends a request through into an automation, and it will only get an output from the automation. You can see here there's absolutely zero AI directly getting information into your CRM. These automations are like basically code, which has only got one set path and can only access a certain set of things. So it really keeps this information secure. And there's no way this can go in the wrong hands because no one has got access to this. This is completely private. So how this works, this is going to be what checks and books our appointments for us. So when we're checking the appointments, first we need to know which CRM it wants to look into. So in this case, we've got London and New York in our spreadsheets. And depending if it's London, we'll then need to check the availability in our London CRM or New York CRM if it's New York. Then next is to go determine, right, is the slot actually available with this data now loaded in? If it is, then we can immediately give a response that is available. And I've liked to have this case where if it's not available, usually a receptionist would like to go, well, we do have some other available times. So that's where it will go and reload the data and then break it down using a bit of JavaScript code. What are the next 3 available appointments from your chosen date are, and then it can actually give that in part of its response. So this could be the following day, typically very close to the actual original booking date that the caller has asked for. Now, once the agent is going to respond from that, they're then going to go and actually try and make the booking itself. So again, it's going to decide if it's London or New York. It will find the booking. We'll adjust the actual slots in the CRM, in this case Google Sheets. And then also we like to go and provide an area where we can see all the booking information being stored. So this is this here. I've blanked out my phone so I don't share it online. This can be an area in your CRM where you have full visibility on everything that's going on within your bookings. So that means you can still get a member of staff to check over it. And this is probably something we'd recommend starting out, just to be sure and give you peace of mind that it actually is behaving. But as you can see, when you see something like this, it's very easy to check up on. We know we've got a number if we do need to phone someone back. If anything looks out of place, it's all visible here. So once it's booked, it'll give a response back to our agent to say, yep, you're booked in. Additional point I want to make actually, back with VAPI, is how our agent sounds, because this is another thing, how you want to make sure it actually sounds like a person. There's 2 different providers I like to use. VAPI has got particularly good voices in there too. Levin Labs is one of the major players that you would have heard of, and they have the biggest selection of voices, so you can go for any accent. It gives you full customization of what it sounds like and how we can match it close enough to your brand. This is something that you can actually go through and test out for yourself and make a suggestion. It's not down to this limited voices that I have. These are massive corporations that have hundreds and hundreds of voices continuously being updated regularly. So you're never going to be running out of ideas for what you want it to sound like. Although I will give you recommendations, as there are voices that sound better than others. But that should be a nice little quick rundown. And if you need any more information, be sure to ask any questions down below. I'm happy to answer them. And if you'd like to have this implemented straight into your business, use the link down below and you can book a free discovery call with me. You can have a look into the sort of systems we can implement for you and decide what is going to be the best value specifically tailored to your business. So you don't have to waste time and effort on things that may not actually make sense for you necessarily. I appreciate your time and thank you for watching.